I won 200 million in the lottery, so I quit my job and prepared to go home and lie down. I called my dad to pick me up at the station, and joked on the phone that I was fired and had to go home to rely on my parents. It was raining heavily, and I waited until the evening but no one came to pick me up, so I had to go home in the rain. As soon as I got to the door, I heard my sister-in-law complaining that she was going to transfer the property in the heavy rain, and she soaked me. Mom said it was for your good. Qianqian was unemployed. Do you want to return the house to him? The eldest sister-in-law snorted and asked him to go out and rent a house. I don't want to live with my sister-in-law. I stood at the door, not knowing whether it was cold or heartbroken, and I couldn't help trembling. I stood at the door for a long time, raised my hand and knocked on the door, thinking that they shouldn't chase me away. It was my mother who opened the door. Qianqian is back, so you should ask your dad to pick you up when the rain is lighter. Why don't you wait for me? I just changed my shoes and looked at the wet shoes next to me, pretending that I didn't know they went out. When my mother saw me see the shoes on the ground, she still pretended and found an excuse. I was at your sister-in-law's house before the rain and just came back. I said oh lightly and walked towards the room with the suitcase. The door opened, and there were a lot of messy things inside. Mom, what's going on? It's not that there are too many things at home, and you don't come back often, so I haven't had time to clean it up for you. I saw my things piled up on the balcony, thrown there casually. At least I bought this house and you live here and you messed up my room like this. My mother lowered her head and pretended to be innocent. My sister-in-law shouted arrogantly outside, Qianqian, what are you yelling about? If you want to drive us away, just say it. I didn't want to waste time talking to them, so I turned around and walked into my brother's room. I pulled my brother who was playing games and asked him where I was staying. Qianqian, don't be angry. It was my mother and your sister-in-law who said that there were too many things at home, so they put them in your room. So your sister-in-law and I will stay in the hotel for a few days, and you will stay in our room. As we were talking, they asked me how long you would be back this time. I said Shanghai is so far away, don't go back. Come home and work here so that the family can take care of each other. I have heard this many times. In the past, I would say that my major is not suitable, not to mention that I can't find a job in this place, and if I find one, the salary is not very high, so I will go back to Shanghai. But this time I hardened up and said directly that I thought so too. I have been drifting outside for these years and I am ready to come back. I plan to stay for a long time, so it is definitely unrealistic for you and your sister-in-law to stay in the hotel. Just let my mother and others clean up the room and live in it. As soon as the words fell, my sister-in-law yelled where to collect it, and the little girl couldn't even put her feet down. Several people stood there, no one moved, and after a long stalemate, my brother said that if you don't collect it, I will collect it, and he was about to walk into the house. My mother grabbed him and said, do you know how to collect it? I looked at them and said, you don't have to worry about who will collect it. Isn't the apartment I bought before still empty? Give me the key and I will live there. My mother didn't respond for a long time. I looked at her and then at my brother, what do you mean by this? My brother said embarrassedly, Qianqian, don't be angry. That apartment is now occupied by your sister-in-law's younger brother. It's not convenient for you to go there. Isn't there another one in Qianqian Garden? Give me the key. Several people were unmoved. My father, who had been silent for a long time, spoke again at this time, Qianqian, are you back to ask for a house or are you back to show off? I almost laughed out of anger. In your heart, I am such a person, right? I have not come back yet, I will arrange my own place to live, and you still say I am showing off. I have never seen anyone who bought 3 houses but did not have his own room. Several people looked unhappy but no one spoke. I know they just want to drive me away because I am unemployed, and I don't bother to squeeze in this room with them, but since they are unkind, don't blame me for being unjust. Since you want to drive me away so much, then do it thoroughly. What do you mean by not speaking? Drive me away, right? My parents and eldest brother did not speak, but my sister-in-law spoke up. Whose sister-in-law have you seen? She is over 30 years old. Not only does she not marry, but she also lives in her brother and sister-in-law's house. Do you want to live there for a long time after being unemployed? Shouldn't you have some idea in your heart? I chuckled and said in an unhappy tone, it's not your turn to speak. I asked my parents and my brother. My sister-in-law was scolded, and my brother's face turned black on the spot. He looked back at me and said in a very unhappy tone, Qianqian, I can spoil you, but your sister-in-law has no obligation to spoil you. Please be polite to her. I looked at her and smiled and said, I was rude to her because you didn't say anything. I bought 3 houses for Tan Kai. One is for you to use as a wedding house, and one is for your brother-in-law to live in. What are you a vested interest mad at here? If you have the ability, return all 3 houses to me and take your wife and parents to live outside. After I said that, Tan Kai's face was extremely bad. Before he spoke, my father stood up from the sofa and scolded me. Qianqian, you are presumptuous. I ignored his loud scolding and said calmly, I'll ask you again, is there no place for me to live in any of the 3 houses? This is what my mother said in return. I nodded and looked at them. So you want to break off relations with me, right? They were silent and I said in a deep voice, okay, in that case, let's sever our ties today. From now on I, Qianqian, will be an orphan with no parents and no relatives. I took my suitcase and left the house, booked a hotel and moved in first, and called a lawyer friend to ask if I could get the 3 houses back in someone else's name since the full payment had been made. He asked me if I had any gift agreements including verbal agreements. I said I had one house, and I said it was for my parents' honor and to provide for their retirement, but I didn't have any others. The lawyer said that it might be difficult to get this one back completely, and I asked if it was okay to change the name to mine. The lawyer said that there would be no problem getting the property rights back. I told him directly about my family's affairs and hired him to be my lawyer. They wanted to take back all 3 houses. After hanging up the phone, I felt empty inside, as if a piece of my chest was cut out. After graduating from high school, I worked part-time to earn money until I graduated from college and stayed in Shanghai. I worked overtime and saved money to buy these 3 houses, emptying out all my savings. Originally, I planned to give one to my parents as a retirement home, one for myself to live in when I returned, and the other to rent out to make some money so that I could retire. It was not enough for my parents to occupy one house. Even if they gave the house I gave to them to Tan Kai, I would not be that angry. They wanted to take all 3 houses and kick me out of the house because I was unemployed. I took out my mobile phone, looked at the 7 zeros after the 3 in my bank card and cried. I laughed while crying. What's the big deal? I still have money. I can spend it all in my life. I will never spend it all until I die. I washed my face, went to the restaurant to have a meal, came back and took a nap. Early the next day, I ran to the sales office of Jinling Bay Villa. This is the most expensive villa area in our city. The fine decoration cost more than 7 million. I painted a house, moved in with my luggage, and hired a nanny to cook and clean every day. Half a month passed. Peacefully like this, I got a call from my mother. I heard her roaring voice as soon as I answered the phone. Qianqian, are you crazy? You actually sued us, I chuckled. Ms. Liu, who are you? I am suing Tan Kai for occupying the 3 houses I bought, which I bought in full. Qianqian, you've grown wings. You even want to go to court when there's a little conflict. Fine, I'll also sue you for being unfilial. Do you really think you can sever the relationship with just a few words? Your brother said, there's no such thing in the law now. As long as you're not dead, you have to provide for our old age. Fine, then go ahead and sue me. As long as you sue me, I'll give you whatever the court decides. I heard that a few hundred yuan a month will be enough. It's not that I can't afford it. By the way, I heard that you can also give me supplies. I'll buy you sanitary napkins for 500 yuan, and the law also recognizes it. Go and sue me. My mother was so mad at me that she cursed you on the phone, you bitch. Just wait, your brother will beat you to death when he comes back and sees the lawyer. You want Tan Kai to come? I'll wait. Before hanging up the phone, next door the neighbor came to my door with some fruits. She was a girl a little older than me and looked familiar. Hello, I'm my next door neighbor Guing. I suddenly realized that she was a TV host in our city and said, hello, I'm Qianqian, come in. She waved her hand and said, we're not going to chat anymore. I just came to say hello. We're having a class reunion and we'll be at my house for a while. I'm afraid to disturb you, please forgive me. I smiled and said, it's okay. He looked at me and said with a smile, hey, you're about the same age as us, why don't you come over and play with us? At first I thought there were elderly people living here, and I wanted to refuse, but he was so enthusiastic and familiar, and he pulled me away. There was a nanny at home, so I didn't care. I said I was going to change my shoes and he said no. I didn't expect that this Guing was actually my eldest sister-in-law's classmate. He came with Tan Kai. When he saw me, he rushed over and asked, Qianqian, how did you find this place? I smiled and watched her ferocious look. Guing didn't know our relationship, so she pulled my eldest sister-in-law Li Jiao over and prepared to introduce me, but Li Jiao was quick-witted. She looked at everyone and said, this is the one I complained to you about. I'm so sorry for my sister-in-law who doesn't get married at her age and is unemployed and lives off her parents. I didn't expect him to. She followed us. Everyone present knew that I was the neighbor that Guing brought here personally. Since we were neighbors, we lived in this villa area, which was exactly what Li Jiao said about me. Everyone looked at each other, and Guing looked at me and asked if you knew each other. I smiled and said, what a coincidence. This is my eldest brother and his wife. I didn't expect you were classmates. Guing was the host and said with a smile, isn't it a coincidence? Li Jiao and Han Qianqian didn't come with you. He is my neighbor. I thought we were all about the same age, so I called him over to have a barbecue together. Tan Kai and Li Jiao both looked incredulous. What do you mean he is your neighbor? How is that possible? Guyun didn't know how to respond and looked at me. Li Jiao also looked at me. Qianqian, you are unemployed, aren't you? You rent a house and a villa by yourself, but you don't rent the one I bought. Li Jiao laughed when she heard that. How is that possible? Didn't you buy 3 houses, empty your savings, and be fired by the company? Where did you get the money to buy a house and a villa? Did you become paranoid after being kicked out of the house? I have worked hard for more than 10 years and bought 3 houses. You also know that I have emptied my savings, so you unscrupulously occupied the 3 houses. When you heard that I resigned and went home, you couldn't wait to kick me out of the house. It doesn't matter. I have hired a lawyer and I will take back the 3 houses. So please Ms. Li and Mr. Tan, go buy your own house as soon as possible, otherwise you will be forced to move out by the court and have no place to live. One after this speech the people present began to whisper, and some even asked Li Jiao directly. Didn't Li Jiao say that your parents-in-law bought you 3 houses? You also complain about your sister-in-law every day, saying that she is lazy and ugly, and she is almost 40 and still hasn't married. You also say that she lost her job and came home to rely on her parents. You are so shameless. I laughed when I heard you say this. So this is how you confuse right and wrong behind the scenes. It doesn't matter. Ms. Lu called me just now and said that she received a lawyer's letter. When you go back, you will be able to see her classmates' reunion. We are taking over the show here. It's really not good to quarrel in someone else's house. I'm too lazy to argue with her. They were entangled and she said to Guing, Ms. Gu, I'm sorry to trouble you. I'll go back first. Have fun and come to my house when you're free. I was about to leave when Li Jiao grabbed me, Qianqian, and asked me to tell you clearly where the money to buy the villa came from. It wasn't given by your mother. I looked at him and then at Tan Kai and said lightly, only your husband has a mother. I didn't finish my words. I shook off his hand and left Gu Yun's house. Li Jiao and Tan Kai chased me out, watched me enter the villa, and wanted to follow me in. I locked the door directly from the inside. The nanny I hired was a college graduate named Qianqian. She had social phobia. Looking at this couple, she was more scared than me. I smiled and was not afraid. She sent me her ID number on WeChat. I was going to travel for a few days. You come with me. Qianqian was stunned for a moment. I just started working and had no money to travel. I smiled and said, I'll take you out. The money will be paid by me. You come with me for food, accommodation and transportation. Then where shall we go? I thought about it. I have been working for so long that I never dared to hope that I would have spare money and time to travel. For a moment you couldn't answer. Where are you going? Turning back to ask him, is there any place you want to go? Qianqian said that he wanted to go to a small town in the southwest. Okay, let's go. He quickly booked a flight for the next day and gave it to his family. I called and told him about traveling. His family was a little worried, afraid that I would take him to have a kidney surgery. I didn't know whether to laugh or cry. He replied that no, but he and I had only known each other for half a month, and I said I would take him on a trip. This was suspicious. The girl didn't look talkative. I told her that traveling was a spur-of-the-moment idea. The 2 people outside were my brother and sister-in-law. I won the lottery, so I quit my job and came back. The girl looked at me with envy but didn't ask how much I won. I continued to say that my parents favor boys over girls, and they only heard that I was unemployed and came back to live on my parents, so they kicked me out. I originally they bought 3 small houses, but now they live in one and my sister-in-law and brother live in one. Theirs is empty, right? No one said it, but I just have nowhere to go. I resigned and came back, thinking that I would have money and could lead a good life with them, and our family could live happily together. But who knew that I was the only one who treated them as family, and they treated me as their mother. After I finished speaking, Qianqian was not very good at comforting people. He just said lightly, although we are family, there is no need to insist on family affection if it is not cherished. It is just giving others a reason to bully you. I smiled and said, you are right, so don't worry, I won't hit you. The bad guy with the kidney, Qianqian, was amused by me. Li Jiao and the others barbed for a while, and then went back to Guing to continue attending the class reunion. If it were me, I would be too embarrassed to go back. The party didn't end until the evening. I saw that everyone drove away. Only Li Jiao and Tan Hai walked down. After everyone left, Guing came to my side. I asked Qianqian to make him a cup of coffee. He said he was sorry for the unpleasantness today. How could I blame him? If I had to say sorry, it would be me. Who knew I would meet Li Jiao by chance? But thinking that Li Jiao and Tan Kai knew where I lived now, they would definitely find me according to their nature. I'll call Guing in advance and give them a heads up. My family will probably come to harass me. I'll post their photos in the property and not let them in, but my sister-in-law may call you by my name. Guing was silent for a moment and said, Miss Tan, don't worry. They are not on my interview list. Thank you. That night, it should be Tan Kai and his family who went home and told me my mother's phone number. They came in again and asked Qianqian, when did you buy it without telling us? Where did the money come from? What does it have to do with you? As I said that, I hung up the phone and blocked them. Just after I blocked them, a WeChat message from Tan Kai came in. Qianqian, you are really getting worse and worse. He is getting more and more uneducated. He even blocked my parents. I replied to him that he is well educated. He is living off his parents and occupying the house I bought. Give me back my house. The good-for-nothing Tan Kai must have a broken house. He called me on video. I blocked him as well. The phone and WeChat of the whole family. After blocking them, I sent photos of the 4 of them in the property group and told them not to let anyone in. The next morning, Qianqian and I flew to Qianqian. Because we blocked the annoying people, no one disturbed us for half a month. Qianqian started a vlog and was editing it at night. Mr. Tan, do you mind showing up? No, I don't mind. Hehe. Smiled that I was busy editing the video, and I woke up from a deep sleep. His video went viral and we were both on the hot search. The comments below were all like gods. The boss quit his job and became a nanny. Miss, ask your boss if he still needs a chef. The food is delicious. Does your boss still go to the sedan chair? I am a professional match. Netizens were chatting happily, and the account gained followers like crazy. He looked at me, feeling a little uneasy. What should I do, Mr. Tan? I'm here. What are you laughing at? Good thing, take this broken wealth and make an account. He pursed his lips. I will split the egg income with you. As long as I have the money I have now. Actually, I didn't want to share anything with him, but he and I get along very well now, and his cooking is delicious. I'm just a little worried. You won't quit, will you? I don't know why when I said this he chuckled and I laughed too. How is that possible unless you fire me? I smiled and said, then we have to sign a separate contract when we go back. You keep the income from the account and just don't quit. Even if you don't quit, the protagonist of the account videos is the boss. Hey, how can you not share the money? No matter how much, we will share it. Just quit and it's fine. It was an accidental achievement, and we were both very happy. Things kept fermenting until in the evening someone forwarded a comment, criticizing me for being an unfilial daughter, blocking my parents, brother and sister-in-law, and that I already have a villa, but I still let my lawyer sue to grab the house, creating a good boss persona, but I am actually black-hearted behind the scenes. Netizens love to stir up trouble. I became popular in the morning but turned over in the evening. Instantly, netizens smelled something fishy, just like the tea manure in the field. Qianqian didn't expect this, but I didn't care. What should I do about Mr. Tan? Qianqian either called me Mr. Tan or the boss. He insisted on saying it in a formal way. When I heard him call me that, I felt like I was still at work. Don't respond beforehand. Let them move. After a while, the public opinion fermented until the next day. Several accounts were reposting comments to slap this person in the face. I looked through them and found that they were my former colleagues. They were all helping me to clarify, saying that I was very hardworking at work and was reluctant to rent a house in Shanghai. I saved up all my monthly salary and bought a house in my hometown to honor my parents. As far as they knew, I bought 3 houses, all in the name of my parents. The so-called grabbing of houses was just to get back my own things. However, just a few sentences were drowned in tens of thousands of comments. I spent a whole morning sorting them out. I used Qianqian's account to broadcast all the money transfer records over the years. Netizens flocked to the live broadcast room, and all the records of my work-study program in college and later transfers and house purchases were released. My friends were still confused. I said in the live broadcast that I had resigned. My father joked that I would go home and rely on my parents because I was unemployed. My parents were so scared that they transferred the 3 houses I bought to my brother that day. After I went home, I didn't even have a room in the 3 houses. I was kicked out that day. You can listen to the recording and question the authenticity of the recording, saying how could someone just take out the recording casually? It was more like they were prepared. I replied to him because I called my father and asked him to pick me up, but he didn't come all afternoon. I went back in the heavy rain by myself, and I heard them chatting at the door. My sister-in-law complained that the transfer was so urgent that she got wet in the rain. My mother said it was for their own good. Otherwise, if I lost my job and went back, would they be willing to rent the 3 houses? Then my sister-in-law asked me to go out and rent a house. She was not used to living with her sister-in-law. By the way, one of the 3 houses was an apartment and there was no space in the house. I said I would go to the apartment, but my sister-in-law's younger brother lived in my apartment. Why? Is it because I am a daughter? Why should I give away the money I have worked hard to earn for more than 10 years? I can only give it to family members and relatives. Since they are not my relatives, of course I will take it back. I would also like to say here that if there are girls who have the same experience as me, please protect your wallet. The love that you didn't get when you were a child, you can't buy it back with money when you grow up. Don't be as stupid as me, spending money all the time, thinking that money can buy family affection and love, but in the end all we got was disappointment. Someone asked in the comments what happened to the villa, and I smiled. I originally wanted to keep it to myself, but it doesn't matter anymore. God bless me and I was lucky enough to buy a lottery ticket and win the prize. The reason why I quit my job and returned to my hometown was actually because I wanted to take the money and live a good life with them. It was because they despised me for being unemployed. After I came out, the comment area was filled with fuck. And some people were still posting, so cool, so cool. This is the real retribution. After I replied, there were voices criticizing me in the WeChat family group. Qianqian, you are really going too far. You won the lottery and you plotted against your parents and dumped them. It's unacceptable for a girl to be so scheming. The person who was speaking was my aunt. I said in the group that my aunt was simple-minded and asked her to return the 100,000 yuan she borrowed from me a few years ago as soon as possible. If you are kind enough, then buy 3 houses for my uncle. It is not recommended to buy 3 houses. I can't even have a room with the houses I bought. What do you think I am? Tan Kai questioned me in the group, why can't I even have a room? I threw the recording into the group because according to the rules I have severed ties with them, and you are no longer relatives to me. I will not be a member of this group. As for the other families who owe me money, please gather the money and pay me back within a month, otherwise I will still find a lawyer to sue me. I will take back every penny you took from me. If anyone wants to stand up for the 4 of them, please take them to your home first and vacate my house and return it to me. Then I will withdraw the lawsuit. After a lot of complaints, I left the group. Qianqian and I are still traveling. We went to Hainan again. I don't know who gave me the advice, but my mother actually went to the court to sue me for supporting them. But it's funny, she hasn't reached the age where she needs support, so the court rejected the case. Then I sued them to get the house back. When the verdict came down, they asked for all 3 houses to be returned to me. The transfer should be completed within 1 month. Tan Kai dragged his feet and refused to transfer the ownership. I directly sent people to his company to block him every day. If he didn't dare, I would ruin his job. My father and mother came to the villa park to find me without telling Tan Kai and Li Jiao. The security guard would not let them in. The 2 of them actually knelt at the door. The property manager felt that this would affect his image and sent me a message. I went out to meet them. The old couple had gloomy faces. My mother was used to it and wanted to continue scolding me, but was held down by my father. He looked at me and asked Qianqian, "We are already at the door, don't you invite your parents in to sit down?" I laughed, it was so ironic. "No, that's it, just like I have no place in your home, this is my own home and there is no place for you either." My father fell silent, and my mother asked me with gritted teeth, "If you just don't want my brother to have an easy life." I was a little puzzled, how can I make his life easy? I have been a blood bag for him for a lifetime. After so many years, haven't I done enough? How else can I make his life easy? I spoke fiercely, and my mother shuddered. "You love him so much, why don't you sell shoes and support your big son? Don't come and pick on me, I feel sick just looking at you. Qianqian, how about we give birth to you and raise you? I'm sorry that you gave birth to me and gave birth to me to serve Tan Kai. I was born to be Tan Kai's nanny and raise me." Tan Kai threw his clothes to me. After graduating from high school, I earned money to study on my own. Don't you remember that I was wearing Tan Kai's old clothes and was laughed at by my classmates? Don't you remember that I came to you to cry? I remember everything. The first time I had money, I wanted to come back and let you live a good life. The moment I said I was unemployed, you were thinking about how to kick me out. How can you say that you gave birth to me and raised me? Let Tan Kai transfer the ownership quickly. If he doesn't, I will ruin his job. The same goes for me, Jiao. I won't let any of them go. I cheated a few tattooed men and made them accompany Tan Kai to and from get off work every day. They were just waiting for my order to have Tan Kai fired. After half a month, Tan Kai couldn't stand it anymore and talked to his leader. He had to call me to transfer the ownership. I didn't show up and asked a lawyer to do it for me. All 3 houses were changed to my name. After I got married, I found out that the people living in the school district house were my sister-in-law's parents, and the person living in the apartment was my sister-in-law's younger brother. My biological parents were not even as good as my wife. I was also their daughter-in-law and their sons. What was the apple of my eye? I was just their slave. They were not polite at all, and sent people to force them to move. After Tan Kai's brother-in-law and his parents-in-law were kicked out, Li Jiao and Tan Kai had a big fight and threatened to divorce. It was quite dramatic. The flower-armed elder brother asked me if I wanted to sell a second-hand house. He wanted to buy one and had also seen my parents. The one they lived in now was very close to the hospital and the subway. I sold it to him at a discount. After the transfer, he quickly brought people and asked my parents and my brother and sister-in-law to move out. The 4 of them were homeless and came to me to avoid difficulties with the property management. I continued to hire the flower-armed elder brother to guard the door. After a few days they didn't see me and went back to their hometown. My sister-in-law wanted to divorce Tan Kai. Tan Kai accidentally killed Li Jiao and was taken away by the police. The old couple cried and begged for forgiveness from the Li family, but the Li family was unwilling. In the end, Tan Kai was sentenced to death. The old couple fainted after hearing the news. I am paying attention to everything that happens later. Maybe when they need support, they will sue me and I will give them 500 yuan according to the court judgment. But who knows if they can live to that time after losing their son. I have happily started my global travel journey. The full text is over.